Shalom, peace and blessings. My name is Nuriya Yasha'Allah. Thank you so much for joining me here at the Light of the Lord Prophecy channel. As you all can see from the title, I will be coming today specifically to give a prophetic word of judgment from the Lord. There will be no intro, is no need for one. I will be going right into the prophecy. Now, this prophetic word is in regards to Nathaniel Ray, known as Bishop Nathaniel or Nathaniel Ben Israel. So this word is in regards to him, and I will be declaring the Lord's prophetic judgment to true Israel in front of the nation. With that being said, I want to state before I get any comments, when it comes to Yah's character and how he deals with his messengers, it is not outside of his character to send his messengers to give messages of rebuke, reprove, and death. We've seen it with Micaiah, who was sent to prophesy the death of Ahab. Elijah prophesied the death of Jezebel. So it is not also out of Yah's character to also show his messengers things that are done in the hidden places, like Elisha. So before I get any comments about what Yah will or would not do, or what Yah would or would not reveal to his messengers, it would behoove you to read the books of 1st and 2nd Kings to aid in a bit of historical edification, especially when it comes to the workings of your Creator. Now, with that being said, I have my dream journal and prophetic word journal pulled up. So I will be reading the prophecy that the Lord gave me on January 20th, 2024, word for word, not a word added, not a word taken away. So I will be directing my attention to the screen so that I make sure that I read the words of the Lord exactly how he spoke it to me. Now, with that being said, I did mention I received this prophecy on January 20th, 2024 on the Sabbath day. When it comes to when the Lord speaks, he'll speak and then he'll either tell me to hold back, to hold my peace, to wait for a season, and then he'll tell me when to speak on something. I do not speak a word in the name of the Lord prematurely. The Lord is very stern on when he wants things done. So now is the time where I was permitted and instructed to release this word. And this is the prophecy of the Lord, and it is titled, "A Cancer to My People. So have I struck him with cancer." And the word of the Lord is as follows: "Slowly destroying my people from the inside out, so will I destroy you. You have lifted up yourself and called yourself king of my people. I have heard you behind the closed door in secret. You've lifted up yourself as an idol and dare claim the anointing of a prophet. Your judgment has been declared. Death creeps near your door. In secret have you blasphemed my Holy Spirit. There is no forgiveness for you. You will never enter my eternal rest. You dare lift yourself up in the eyes of my people, knowing the great sin you have committed. You destroy my people slowly. You drain them of their assets, and you teach them doctrines of destruction. So slowly will I destroy you. This is the word of the Lord." When I received this word, I was on the couch on the Sabbath studying something totally unrelated. I'm really not familiar with the inner workings of this man's organization. Of course, being a part of the Hebrew community and being a part of true Israel, you know what the main camps and congregations are. You know who some of the top leaders are, but I have no knowledge of the inner workings. I haven't had any solid conversations with anyone that's in this organization. When the Lord gave me this prophecy, I took it to him in prayer and in the secret place to ask more questions to better understand exactly what the Lord was showing me, telling me, what the Lord was explaining to me, all across the board. So when I went into the secret place and I prayed to the Lord, the Lord revealed to me many things about what's going on behind the scenes that is not common knowledge to the people, especially the majority of his congregation. The Lord revealed to me more in depth of how he received his seat in the first place. And the Lord explained that he did not put this man in his seat from the beginning. So the Lord really started to peel back and reveal a lot of things to me. And I'm going to be going over these things with you today. I'm going to be explaining more of what the Lord spoke to me throughout the last 6 months, the information that he led me to throughout the last 6 months, and also what he instructed me specifically to share with you all today. Now, with that being said, the Lord revealed to me many things concerning this man's ailment and this man's sickness. So this man has been living with cancer for some time now, and he's hid his ailment from the mass majority of his congregation. When I asked the Lord more about what exactly did he mean he's hiding it from the mass majority of his congregation, the Lord explained to me specifically only the innermost circle, or people who are on a need-to-know basis, knows the severity of this man's illness. People who work with him on a day-to-day basis, closely during the week, people who have to see him very often, people who are close to him, whether it's a security detail or his direct leadership or direct reports, they are aware that he's sick and the severity of it. But for the mass majority of the congregation, they see the signs that this man is sick. The Lord explained to me that the mass majority, those who see him in person, they see him breaking down in some sort of way. They see his body weakening, but they don't know exactly what he's sick with. They just maybe think it's old age or just losing weight here and there. But the Lord is saying that this man is actually slowly fading away and slowly dying, and that is by his judgment and by his word. And then as I continue to ask questions, the Lord spoke to me and said that this cancer has been eating him slowly, and it is a result of his earthly works, that being his earthly judgment. And for this, he's slowly destroyed thousands of his people with false doctrines, hardening their hearts. And I want to pause here because the Lord put extreme emphasis on the hardening of the hearts of his people. And the reason why he put extreme emphasis on it is he elaborated on the destruction of these doctrines that are being taught to his people. And the hardening of the hearts, meaning that when a corrupt doctrine is introduced to specifically people in this congregation, this community, this camp, that if you try to tell them the truth, or you try to tell them contrary to what Nathaniel Ray has taught them, it's too hard for them to comprehend. It's too hard for them to accept. They have built a hardened heart to anything else outside of what Bishop Nathaniel, or what the Lord calls him, Nathaniel Ray, has taught them. And the Lord said that there's thousands, the blood of thousands of people on his hands. So as I am talking to the Most High and getting more information, and he's revealing to me all of these different things about what's going on with this man's condition and how there are measures being taken to hide it and all of these things like that, I do want to first pause and give an example of how the Lord will reveal certain things to his messengers that are done in the secret place. So when I say the secret place, meaning that, for example, someone may go into their room, close the doors, it's just them, and they do something that would be deemed evil and wicked, and they believe that no one has seen this thing because they're in the room by themselves. But the Lord is there and he witnesses these things as a show that it is the Lord speaking to his messengers, and it is the Lord that speaks through his messengers. He will inform the person that this messenger is sent to prophesy to or against, hey, you did this in the room when you thought no one else was there. Now my messenger knows, and I've told my messenger to now tell you. So now you know that I have sent this messenger. So with that being said, the Lord revealed to me many things that were said or done in the secret place when it comes to Bishop Nathaniel propping himself up as King of Israel and also as an idol among the people. Also, he revealed to me that he blasphemed his Holy Spirit in a secret place, which we know is unforgivable. But also a couple of other things when it comes to the corruption in IUIC. The Lord actually gave me dreams concerning the corruption in IUIC, certain conversations that were had that nobody else should be able to know but the Most High, because he sees all, he's in the midst of all regardless. So with that being said, I'm going to share a lot of the things that the Lord revealed to me. Some of these things are already accessible. Some things that the Lord wanted me to speak on are accessible, especially when it comes to certain cases, etc. So I'm going to be speaking about all of these things because I was instructed to. Now I am going to go ahead and discuss more about what the Most High revealed to me about what was done in the secret places. Now with that being said, the Most High revealed to me that Nathaniel Ray was actually implanted in his seat. The Lord did not put him in his seat. He was also given his seat from powers, principalities, and high places. The Lord also revealed to me that he's a Mason and also that he's corrupted in all his ways. As the Lord is revealing all of the details that I will get into about how Nathaniel Ray, Bishop Nathaniel, is a Mason, also that he was actually implanted in his seat, specifically to spearhead and lead a mass majority of the people that were already prophesied to be awakened. The Lord spoke to me and said that my people underestimate and are foolish to the great lengths that are taken to keep them in deception. And as I asked him more, Abba, what do you mean by this? Can you explain to me more? He explained to me that Israel, true Israel, would never imagine a leader actually being strategically and by design fixed up or propped up in a leadership position under a guise or under a mask in the awakening. So the Lord explained to me that the powers that be, Masonic organizations, the Synagogue of Satan, all of these organizations that continuously try to keep true Israel in sin and away from the awakening, they already knew that the awakening was going to happen prior to Israel, true Israel, knowing that the awakening was going to happen. So beforehand, it was already processes and stuff being done by design to implant agents into certain camps, congregations, and in churches. And if only Israel knew how many agents and how many people have been strategically implanted in these organizations, they would be sick to know the lengths that are being taken to keep them deceived, to keep them in wickedness, to keep them in sin, to keep their hearts hardened. So for information coming to say someone on the level and status as Nathaniel Ray actually being implanted, they would never imagine something like that, and the adversary would go that far. But the Lord said it did happen. And I'm going to especially go into more details about how he was implanted in his seat, and just more into the history behind him being an agent and all of these things like that. As the Lord continued to explain to me about how true Israel is so naive and foolish to the lengths that are being taken to keep them deceived, the Lord, he uttered these words to me in prayer: crooked, NYPD, don't they know? So the Lord has been in a bit of a way sarcastic, meaning, don't you know? Because this is public knowledge. Anybody can look this information up. You know, the Lord doesn't have to show something that's hidden through his messenger for you to be able to find the information about him being a crooked New York City police detective or cop. That's why he said, don't they know? So when it comes to this particular topic, the Lord actually instructed me to pull up some articles, court case documents to read over with you all. And this all ties into the Masonic, the Masonry that he's a part of, the organization that he's a part of. It just really unfolds and peels back a lot of the things that people are just not in the know of, especially when it comes to this man's personality, the way this man operates. I do want to make note before I get into this court case that after a bit of research, I did find out that IUIC, which is the organization that Bishop Nathaniel Ray was actually implanted in to spearhead, direct, on account of his big bad bosses at the top. But that organization was started in 2003. This court case that I'm about to read to you today was in 2015. So with that being said, this is recent. He had already started IUIC. He was still a police officer, a police detective at the time, and he was still operating in this way. And this is another reason why the Lord said that he's corrupted in all his ways.
And from what I understand, he used to be a detective in the NYPD?
Yes, sir.
All right. The question I have is, when and why did you join the NYPD?
Well, a job, number one. I needed a job. I was operational insecurity, so I said, let me just jump on over to that. So I went on. There's a lot of other history in there, but it's long-winded. But, I need a paycheck.
First of all, what time period were you an officer? So we make this clear.
2000 up to 2016.
So I'm going to share the screen with the article so you all can read along with me. And yes, I'm going to go ahead and read it. Okay, so the article, of course, at the top of the article, it says $750,000 were awarded in damages and attorney fees. If anyone is not aware of the legal system or the criminal justice system, there is a criminal process, and then there's also a civil process. The civil process is always in regards to claims. So anytime you want to basically sue someone for monetary damages. But not only are we about to read about a civil case, we're also going to be discussing how a conviction had to be overturned because it was a false arrest and it was due to police misconduct. So as you can see, under the case was filed under police misconduct. It was a false arrest, and it was the location was in New York. So on July the 2nd, 2015, a New York federal court entered a settlement judgment of $250,000 each in favor of two black men who were falsely arrested for 2 armed robberies. These two brothers spent 11 months in jail, and the court also awarded $250,000 to them in attorney fees in this civil rights action case. The names of these brothers was Malik Sanders and Corey Phillips. They were arrested following 2 separate traffic stops. Police maintained their appearance and attire. Gray hoodies were similar to those worn by 2 or 3 black men who had committed recent armed robberies. NYPD Detective Nathaniel Ray allegedly manipulated lineups to force the identification of Sanders and Phillips and coached witnesses to identify them. So some did and some did not. Police officer Michael Rackerbrandt, who had walked in on one of the robberies and torn a piece of the hood of one of the robbers during a struggle, falsely identified them as the robbers. They were indicted. So these brothers were falsely identified. You see that Nathaniel Ray was named in this lawsuit as allegedly manipulating lineups, basically to force the identification of Sanders. So basically witness tampering, which is a felony. Also tampering with evidence and providing false evidence, which are all felony charges. So I want all of you all to keep in mind that these are felonies also being committed, even though these brothers received their settlement, they received their claim money, there were still felonies done in these processes. Continuing on, when these brothers were indicted or locked up for these false charges that were brought against them, bail was set at $50,000 for Sanders and $85,000 for Phillips, because they could not afford it due to the situation of most Hebrews in America. We don't have the means to afford bail, which is about 10% of the overall bail. So they could not afford it, and they had to spend up to almost a year in jail, 11 months in jail. Eventually, over time, DNA tests on the hood fabric proved that neither man's DNA was on the hood. Examination of the video recordings of the robberies also showed the robbers could not have been them. Therefore, the prosecutor agreed to lower the bail so that the men could be released. 5 months later, the prosecution moved to dismiss all charges against Sanders and Phillips. Due to this, Sanders and Phillips brought a civil rights action case against the city of New York, and also specifically against Nathaniel Ray and his partner Michael Rakebrand in a federal court case. The defendants, which would be Nathaniel Ray and also Michael Rakebrand, agreed to pay $250,000 to each plaintiff plus $250,000 in attorney fees for a total of $750,000. I also wanted to share an article. If anyone is not very familiar with eternal investigations when it comes to police officers manipulating evidence, there are a few basically it could fall under. Witness tampering, which is procuring a false testimony, including inducing a civilian witness to testify to facts the officer knows the witness did not perceive, which is about 3% of wrongful convictions. Tainted identifications, which is what Nathaniel Ray and his partner did. They did witness tampering. They also did misconduct in interrogations. They fabricated evidence, and also concealed exculpatory evidence. So all of these are separate charges, and all of these are felony charges. The Internal Police Investigative Unit was supposed to investigate and also execute or indict Nathaniel on. But as you all can see, is that the judge found that they did witness tampering, that there was absolutely no way that these two brothers could have committed this crime. They had video footage of what actually happened. They did DNA tests. They have proof that Nathaniel and his partner, they tampered with confessions. They coerced witnesses and tried to force the witnesses to identify someone who was innocent. So the Lord wanted me to urge and to also get you all thinking when it comes to this man being a Mason and the police force being heavily engulfed in the Masons and the Freemasons. And the reason why the Lord revealed to me that actual felony charges were not brought against and he was not indicted on was because not only is he a Mason, a Freemason, not only was he was allowed to continue on with his life, although he ruined the life of someone else, his partner was also able to. His partner was able to go on and retire with a pension from the police force and then go on to run for Congress. And these people are heavily engulfed in Freemasonry. As the Lord continues to show me all of this information, the Most High revealed to me that this was not the first time that Nathaniel Ray or Bishop Nathaniel had done this. This was also done well after he started IUIC. The Lord explained to me the corruption is in him. It's in him. Now, with that being said, the Lord revealed this was not his first time doing this. It was by the Most High's word and judgment that he was actually caught, and it was brought to light. So he continued on as he continued to explain to me how the Freemasonry is tied into him not actually standing, having his day in court, and actually getting a slap on the wrist. A lot of stuff was done behind the scenes to slide this under the table, because he was not only supposed to just pay almost $1 million to these people. He was actually supposed to serve time, because all of these are felonies that hold a very hefty sentence. But instead, the Lord explained to me more about his role when it comes to being an informant, an agent, and while he's able to basically keep his freedom, because he has a job and a task to do, which is to spearhead one of the largest organizations in the awakening, and to corrupt as many of true Israel as possible. Now, with that being said, the Lord revealed to me, this is the words of the Lord. The Lord continued on about his part when it comes to being propped up and inserted or put into his position. He started off as an informant. The Lord informed me that he started off as an informant prior to him starting IUIC. He started off as an informant in an earlier organization in the Hebrew community. I'm not sure what the Hebrew organization was called or what it was, but it was very early on in the modern day Hebrew awakening where this man was implanted as an informant. He was implanted as an informant. He would take the information that he would learn about what was going on in inner workings, what was being taught, all of these things, and then he will report it back to his big bosses. Now from there, he was then in 2003, he was, the Lord explained, moved up or promoted to actually head an organization to continue to corrupt and deceive more of true Israel on a larger scale. So him being an informant wasn't enough for his big bosses. The Lord said that he was actually implanted in a seat. He was given the funds. He was given the resources to spearhead a larger organization so that he can now feed them exactly what the big bad bosses want. They had more of an autonomy to dictate what the people were learning, what things they wanted to teach the people. They know that they could not stop the awakening no matter what, because it was already prophesied that the awakening was going to happen for true Israel. But the powers that be, wicked powers and principalities, propped him up so that he can then be a source or a feeder to feed in doctrines of destructions to the people, to basically keep them in a state of wanton. So basically keep them still searching for the truth. Although they know who they are, they still don't have it all together. They're still learning doctrines of devils. They're still under a lot of deception. So he is being used to feed all of these doctrines to the people on a larger scale. He had received, like I mentioned, the Lord revealed, he received the resources to do it. He received all of the protection to do it from the Masons. He received all of the big boss's assistance with this. With that being said, that is the end of this part 1 of the prophecy. When the Lord allows me and instructs me to release more of the information that he's revealed to me in the hidden place, I will 100% do it on his time and on his word. For those that are following true Israel, for those that are following this man's leadership, I would urge you to seek the Lord in this matter. The Lord already expressed to me, he's already prepared to me that I'm going to be dealing with hardened hearts on this matter, because he has been propped up as an idol. You idolize him, you seek his word over the Lord's word, and it would behoove you to seek your God in the matter, to seek your creator in the matter, to take these things to him, to ask the Lord to reveal the truth to you, to reveal and take the blinders off, because regardless, these things are going to start coming out soon anyway. The Lord is going to start revealing a lot of the wicked leadership in Israel as a whole. A lot of corrupted leaders are going to start being exposed. Channels are going to start being taken down. People are going to start dropping like flies. A lot of people are not going to make it to the wilderness period, because the Lord is going to take out and purge out the wicked of Israel, and he's only going to deal with those who has a heart towards him, who has a mind towards him. So with that being said, I would encourage you all to pray and fast about the matter. Take this to the Lord. Ask him to open your eyes, because regardless, if you take heed to the words that the Lord has instructed me to speak to you today, his word is not going to come back void. Whether you like me or not, his word is not going to come back void. I don't do this for myself. I do this out of obedience to the Father. I speak his words out of obedience to him. This is not for my own glorification. You can seek him in the matter now, or you can seek him when prophecies are starting to be revealed and the Lord starts to remove the wicked leadership in Israel, and he starts to prop up new leadership and those who he's cultivated to be leaders in the community going forward, as we prepare for the wilderness period, as we prepare to flee, as we prepare to exit Babylon. And I'm going to finish this prophecy with the word of the Lord. The word is, I, the Lord, reveal what is hidden behind the closed door. I alone speak to my messengers and show forth the truth. This thing I have shown. O you little one with a hardened heart, has my word ever come back void? Come out of her, my people. Come out of her. For the time of your fleeing to the wilderness is soon. Thus said the Lord. And until next time, my name is Nathaniel Ray. Shalom.